Hi everyone and welcome to Ultimate Racing 2D. After the 2018 season, which I raced in pretending that Alonso had retired and I took his place at McLaren and generally failed quite miserably, I thought I would retry and design the game into the 2019 season. I won't be playing and will be watching an AI driven championship over 21 rounds across 3 episodes of 21 races with 25 laps each. So just to show you kind of how I've done this, I've gone into championship mode, I've gone in and edited all of the team names and what I think are rough estimations of how good or bad each thing is. My estimations, I think this game doesn't seem to really like Toro Rosso no matter what I do with it, so they always seem to be slightly underpowered because I've given them better grip rather than everything else, I think, and I don't think it kind of plays that too much unless you do like super long races, but hopefully the 25 laps will give that a little bit of love. But this game seems to go absolutely nuts anyway, so lol. The championship calendar will be 21 rounds and we'll start off as the 2018 season kind of started off. Then once we hit the Hungarian Grand Prix, I'm going to kind of start mucking it up a bit essentially. So we're going to stick in France. Now it doesn't have Paul Ricard on this game, and I was tempted to do Le Mans, but we'll stick with the other French circuit. Then we're going to do a historic run at Zandvoort to kind of stick it in and try and get us some of our stuff back as well. Then we'll rejoin back on again with Belgium, Italy, Russia. Then before we go to Japan, we'll do Malaysia as a bonus. Japan, America, Mexico, Brazil, and we'll end sadly in Abu Dhabi. I think that's a decent enough thingamabob here for a season. We'll do that over 3 rounds. Diversity 20 cars, 25 laps. We will do a quali lap. It will be watching the AI in spectator mode, and I'll commentate over the top without hopefully trying to be too terrible. So let's see how we go. Now we're going to do hard and soft tyres. I know this game biases towards soft tyres, but what can I do? The developer has been pulling on and off a patch to make the hard tyres better over a longer run, but it caused the game drama, so it had to be pulled. So I'm going to leave boost on because that causes drama. 10% rain I think isn't enough, and AI at 90% kind of means that they're competent but still make bugger ups. So without further ado, round 1, here we are. And we're off at quali, and that looks like a good start off for Verstappen. Ahead of the 2 Mercedes. Wonder how long that will last. Not long. Hamilton out on front there. Toro Rosso's really at the back again. Leclerc up into 3rd. Don't know what's going on with Bottas. That's not a good run. But over the line comes Hamilton for the first pole of the season. So that's helpful. The 2 Ferraris behind Verstappen. Norris best of the rest, ahead of Bottas. Oh dear. Auspicious start there. Sainz, Perez, Gasly, Magnussen in the top 10, ahead of Hulkenberg. Russell slightly OP there. Ahead of Ricciardo, the 2 Alphas. And the 2 Toro Rossos there at the back. But that sorts itself out when it comes to the race. Ocon not great there either. So a mixture of soft and hard tyres. But it's the 2 softs for Hamilton and Verstappen out on front. And Hamilton gets the lead. Leclerc trying to get his nose right in there. Bottas leapfrogs the 2 McLarens, although Perez is getting a little love nudge in the middle. But it's Vettel who's come through into 2nd. It looks like he's going to take the lead. Indeed he does. Beautifully done there by Seb. Bottas getting a little bit juicy on... Ooh! Naughty from Bottas, trying to get a little bit angry into third. Didn't last long though. Verstappen retakes him back. And those four have pulled well clear, because back in fifth is then Perez on soft tyres. And this is the problem with soft tyres versus hard in this game. Gasly, Norris, look at Leclerc just falling backwards on those hard tyres. Grosjean getting past Ocon, who got a much better start. Now you can see Giovinazzi, Magnussen and Raikkonen on hards, Russell on hards, Ricciardo dropping back. Kubica ahead of the two Toro Rossos, who are also on hards, so it's not going to be a good day for them by the looks of it. Ah, but rain is coming soon. That 10% is going to play its part, and there's a trio well clear. And look, people are pitting for wets already. It's not even raining yet, guys. And here comes in everyone. So it paid to go with the soft tyres to begin with. Look at them all diving in and out. Leclerc really losing out there, down in the 11th position. And these lot have lost out in terms of... Oh! Well, there we go. Huge drama there. Ricciardo trying to get himself back again. Russell making a mistake, dropping behind Raikkonen. There we go. The two Toro Rossos now not on their hard tyres, should be able to make some kind of headway. Ah, but it's the tiniest shower ever as Verstappen leads the way from Hamilton. Well clear. Bottas third. Vettel's got Perez for company. Anyone coming in for dries? They are, but it's not Verstappen. Albon came in for hards first. Praying brave. Now obviously these people were probably thinking, can we get to the end of the race? I don't think they can from there, so that'll be a hard stop into a soft, but no particular changes. So there's Kubica, there's Albon getting back out again, still last, and Verstappen still clear of Hamilton after all of that. Nicely done. Gasly in 6th, just ahead of Hülkenberg, who's had a good run so far. Ocon, after starting in 17th, now up to 8th, ahead of Norris, Leclerc. Back into the top 10 of Sainz, Magnussen and co. Oh dear, hitting a rev limiter there, George. As here comes Verstappen, lapping Daniel Kvyat, who's now into 18th. And with his booster going, looks like we're back into the sunshine, so that's good. Hamilton well clear of Bottas. Vettel versus Perez though for 4 and 5. Perez looks like he's clinging on in the slipstream as they pop a lap on Robert Kubica. Does not help him at all. There's Gasly. Ocon now ahead of Hülkenberg into 7 and 8. Leclerc closing down the pair of them though, as he makes his way through, and if anything they're all closing down Pierre Gasly as they pop a lap on Alexander Albon. Ooh, Leclerc gets that horribly wrong, and here's Ocon. They're struggling to get round Robert Kubica. The Polish chicane, but they've made it through. Lap 12 so far, and it's starting to look a bit juicy up front, and that's because they're in the thick of lapping, and that's Verstappen retaking the lead from Hamilton. Vettel's into second. And this is the drama that unfolds here around Albert Park. Across the line they go. That's Ricciardo getting past Giovinazzi for 14th. Renault versus Alpha. Giovinazzi looking quite off the pace there compared to Daniel Ricciardo. A couple of issues perhaps, some of the corners, but that's helpful for Verstappen. So get back through as they pop a lap on Danny Rick. Looking like a stellar afternoon's work for him as he gets well out of the way. But that's really dropped Hamilton into the clutches, believe it or not, of Valtteri Bottas. Oh, Bottas there trying to use his boost. A little bit skiddy. That did not help him at all. He's got to be careful because Perez isn't too far off. Gasly, Ocon. Now Leclerc ahead of Hulkenberg for 8th and 9th. Ooh, Nico into the back. Round the outside, will that work? No, it will not. He's having another go though, but Leclerc has left all of his boost. So surely he'll just use that in the second half of the lap and get back through as Norris makes a mistake, having closed them all back up again. And there we go. Copious amounts of boost used, and that is well done for him. Norris though, looks like he's going to be doing well next, ahead of Sainz. K-Mag's on his own. There's Romain Grosjean in 13th, popping a lap on Alex Albon. That's how badly that's gone for him this race. Oh, Grosjean now, I think, hitting Albon. That's Raikkonen versus Daniel Ricciardo for 14th and 15th, and they're getting in the way, or may have been getting in the way, in the Gasly-Ocon battle for 6th and 7th, as the top lots have all sorted themselves out a bit. Giovinazzi behind, then Kvyat, Albon, who's got round Robert Kubica after all of that, who's ahead of George Russell. I don't know what's happened to George Russell, but he's dropped right off the back. As just a second covers those lead duo. Hamilton, Bottas, Perez, Gasly. And there's Russell now ahead of Kubica as they get lapped by Ocon. The battle of the Williams duo going strong in the battle for wooden spoon honours. Well, I thought Norris was going to be kicking some booty, but it looks like he's dropped back away again. This has become quite a spread out race actually, with the best battle being the battle of the Williams duo as the rain comes again. Oh, it is very soggy biscuit here at Melbourne. Are people going to dive in straight away? They always do that in this game, and then it's not really quite the right thing to do. As there you can see, look, they're all catching Magnussen and Ocon. They're all skidding off. As Vettel, Verstappen, they're all in. This could be a huge change to the order. Look, Magnussen off the track again. That's not going to help him as teammate Grosjean steams through. Raikkonen will have him as well. Might have the pair, Kimi Raikkonen trying to go around the outside. No, spanks it off. That's Charles Leclerc trying to get through and stick a lap down. There's Ricciardo being lapped by Hulkenberg, who's being lapped by Vettel. All over the shot here as we try and get back up front, because look at the battle for the lead. It's Verstappen versus Vettel. This has not worked out well at all, as look at the rain and how quickly it's coming down. Vettel takes the lead into turn 1, runs out wide. Verstappen back in front again. Hulkenberg trying to get his nose in. They're around to lap Albon again in the Toro Rosso. Will he get out of the way? Ooh, yep, he will. Ooh, but Verstappen will send him. There's an analogy for 2020 if ever I saw one. Verstappen takes the win ahead of Sebastian Vettel. Hamilton dropped down to 3rd ahead of Bottas, who recovered to 4th after his poor quali but good start. And I think that's going to be everyone over the line very shortly. Gasly, Perez, Ocon, Leclerc, Hulkenberg and Norris rounds out your top 10. Yeah, that's everyone over the line. So, oh, Steam achievement, don't mind if I do. Verstappen there gets 30 points. This is how I've done we've gone for a slightly different championship order so that it makes like everything worthwhile. So please bear with me with it. We're taking a spin. So Verstappen gets 30 points out of Vettel 25, Hamilton 22, Bottas 20, Gasly 5, 18. Then the 2 racing points, Perez ahead of Ocon. Good recovery there from Ocon from the back of the grid. Leclerc, Hulkenberg, the 2 McLarens were next. Magnussen ahead of Raikkonen, Grosjean ahead of Ricciardo. Giovinazzi grabbed 4. The 2 Toro Rossos on 3 and 2, Kvyat and Albon. Not a great race for them. Kubica beat home Russell. Just wow. So that keeps the order as it is. In the Teams Championships, after round 1, it is Red Bull ahead of Mercedes, Ferrari, Racing Point. Big gap back to McLaren and Renault, Haas, Alfa Romeo with Toro Rosso and Williams on the board with a point. At least they're going to score every single round. Off to Bahrain for round 2. Here come the quali. And this is going from wet to dry. So, but everyone started on dry tyres. Oh dear, it's all over the shot there. Kubica's made a huge mistake and dropped down the field. Who's that out front? It's Bottas ahead of Vettel and Leclerc. Hamilton's in there as well. Verstappen's dropped back somewhat. Norris best of the rest. But it looks like it's going to be Bottas versus Sebastian. Who's got the better traction into this final turn? Oh, it looks like Bottas might well just get it. Or will it be Seb? They're equal over the line. I'm not sure who's got that and who's going to be given it. Ah, it's Sebastian Vettel gets it from Bottas. Hamilton, Leclerc, Verstappen. Norris doing well, getting ahead of Gasly. Ricciardo much better than his race in Australia. Same for Ocon there in 11. K-Meg doing well in 12 for the Haas. Alfa Romeo's nose to tail. Hulkenberg there, the one that's really lost out. And as you can see, both Williams is dropping off the back. The Toro Rosso's towards the back there as well, not having a grandiose day. So, 25 laps of crazy action again. And that looks like Sebastian Vettel getting a great start in the soft tyres. Ahead of Bottas. Hamilton on the hards. Feeling a bit feisty, which is unusual for a hard-tyred shod car. Gets himself into second, and that is just letting Vettel get away. Bottas has to go round the outside to take second away from Lewis Hamilton. Gasly's got ahead of Verstappen. Oh, not for long. Oh, back again. No, yep, no. Looks like they are stuck on each other and Leclerc doesn't quite know where to go. Is he going to take the pair of them? Oh, just missing out. Of course, he's on hard tyres, and with Hamilton blocking everyone, there's Ricciardo doing great on the hard tyres. Look at Giovinazzi making his way through, sliding through the traffic, and that Alfa Romeo, it's not the best car, but he's on the soft tyres and he's cramming through. Ocon's made the gap though. That's going to be key. There's Perez trying to get through as well. This is Hamilton causing all kinds of problems as Vettel and Bottas take the lead. Hamilton is holding up the rest of the field on his soft, hard-shod tyres. And look, Raikkonen gets around the outside of both Racing Points. And that's Giovinazzi doing a stonking one, trying to get round Leclerc and Hamilton. And that's Gasly out and through. He's made a break for it. And here comes the rain in Bahrain. What? Well, that has worked out perfectly for Vettel and Bottas. And if anything, actually, that's saved Hamilton. Look at everyone diving through. Wet tyres for Gasly, Leclerc, Giovinazzi, Raikkonen, Hamilton there in 7. Oh, down to 8 as Verstappen gets an absolute fantastic jump there as the rain's getting heavier and heavier around the Sakir circuit, and that will see the Alfa Romeos, I think, slip back somewhat as Hamilton's all over Leclerc. Verstappen gets past Giovinazzi. Giovinazzi's not having any of it though. Back through goes the Alfa Romeo. Great stuff from the Italian. And that's Raikkonen pounding through as well as Leclerc goes into 4th position. Not for long. Hamilton uses his boost to get back through. Makes a mistake though, and that's Leclerc back up into 4th position. The two Alphas doing a stunning job. Then it's Verstappen, Ocon. Ocon then Verstappen now. Perez, Hulkenberg, Norris and Ricciardo next. Danny Kvyat bringing up the rear at the moment, not having a grand day. As there's Vettel. Has it been closed in by Pierre Gasly a little bit? I can't quite tell as the rain starts to ease off slightly. Really surprised at the rain here, to be honest, but this is working out beautifully for Alfa Romeo because people aren't getting back through. Verstappen's not able to make an effect, or we might do now that he's clear of Ocon. Yeah, look at that. Raikkonen really struggling as the track's now starting to dry. Very slowly, and that's Verstappen past the pair of them up into 7. Well, past Raikkonen, sorry, up into 7. Giovinazzi next for 6th. Raikkonen, Ocon, Perez, Hulkenberg, Norris, Ricciardo, Sainz is there. Albon doing a much better job in 15th ahead of Russell. Then the two Hasses, they really lost out there. Kvyat and Kubica. Looks like he's closing down Danny Kvyat somehow. Ooh, look at that. Vettel getting a little bit excited onto the back of Valtteri Bottas in the lead. Lap 8 completed. Verstappen now ahead of Giovinazzi. I'm assuming that's going to stay like that. Yep. Ooh, Gio. That's not good. Ooh, teammate into battle. That's not going to help things. As Raikkonen tries to get past. Ocon, Perez, the two Renaults going at it, hammer and tongs as well. That will help Lando Norris, or will it? Because Daniel Ricciardo seems to be on a little bit of a mission. Now into 12th position. Ocon's past Giovinazzi and Raikkonen. So the Alfa Romeo is starting to really struggle. As, yeah, ooh, that didn't quite go so well there for Perez. But Alfa Romeo versus Racing Point up front, though. It's looking juicy, and that's why Bottas is stuck behind Robert Kubica. And Sebastian Vettel takes the lead. Valtteri Bottas getting bottlenecked in there by the Williams driver. They've got a whole host of people up ahead. It looks like George Russell has got both Hasses and Kvyat stuck behind him, as we're starting to move towards the point where you could consider potentially coming in for, and it looks like someone has. Yeah, it's Magnussen. Vettel follows in. Bottas goes round again, though. This could be crucial. As, yeah, look. Yeah, Kubica goes round again as well. But K-Mag may well have got a really juicy jump. He's gone into softs as well. So this is clearly a time where people are like, which way do we go? So Vettel there, only a second ahead of Gasly. That's not worked out very well. Kubica really struggling now that the track has completely dried. According to that monitor, there's Hamilton. Now that he's in the dry and in the clear, I think he will go for an oddly specific one. Yeah, look, K-Mag there really did help himself keep ahead of Grosjean and pull away from Daniel Kvyat. So that's worked out all right there for K-Mag, and I think if he's on the soft tyre, he could make that work. Look at Vettel though. All the traffic. All of the traffic, and that's really helping Valtteri Bottas get back into this Grand Prix. So, Kevin Magnussen, the only soft-tyred runner. And look, the same problems happen there with Vettel as it did with Bottas on Kubica. Clearly an AI issue going on, and that's allowed Bottas to get back into the lead. Beautifully done. They come around to pop a lap on George Russell in the Williams, punching above his weight at the moment. Look there, that's really helped Valtteri. In fact, look, Gasly's got ahead of Vettel. I don't know how that one's happened. Oh, it's not happened for long. And yeah, look, they're all pulling back in again, and it's the lapped cars that are causing the issue around this circuit. As Hamilton pops a lap on K-Mag, as Leclerc getting through, Verstappen, Ocon. Raikkonen still ahead of Perez. There's Giovinazzi and Hulkenberg, Norris, Ricciardo, Sainz. So Hulkenberg's made up a position there. Albon kind of all on his own. Ooh, and that's Hamilton popping a lap on Russell. Magnussen gets through, making use of his soft tyres whilst he can. Kvyat not having a great day. Kubica having an awful one. But yeah, Bottas 1.3 seconds ahead of Vettel. 1.9. I think it's going to oscillate somewhat. But they've got some clear air for a little bit, so that can settle down. Vettel now comfortably ahead of Gasly. Hamilton closing down the pair of them, though. Now need to be careful. Then Leclerc. Verstappen next best. Where's the next best fight? I guess it's this McLaren versus Renault squabble going on for 11, 12, 13, 14. And that's Norris retaking Hulkenberg. Ooh, and then chucked into the dirt. It wasn't so long ago that it was Norris and Ricciardo leading this duo. Quartet, sorry. And well, they've got to be mindful of the fact that they've actually closed back in on Antonio Giovinazzi, who's faded slightly in the second half of this race. Oh yeah, look at that. Not good coming on to the main line, and that's going to allow Sainz through. Yep, uses his boost effectively. Ooh, overcooks it into the corner though, and that allows Giovinazzi back through into 10th for now. He's going to have to really think about how that will work. But Sainz through. Gasly using an alternative method to get Alex Albon out of the way. And there's K-Mag in for his last stop. Rejoins in 19th though. I don't know if this soft tyre run is going to quite work. I think he'll get his most dividends out of it now. As that is Kvyat and Grosjean side by side for position. Daniel Kvyat now getting past both Haas drivers. And this is where the Toro Rosso comes into its own. It's not got the best straight line or anything like that, but its tyres don't go off nearly as much as other teams. So they kind of have a burn from the back as Magnussen gets past George Russell. Is that Gasly closing in on Bottas? Yes, it is. It must have been whilst they were getting round Kubica for the second time. Surely Valtteri Bottas can hold off Pierre Gasly. Well, we will see. They've got an awful lot of squabbling McLarens and Renaults ahead, and that's because they're all getting round Giovinazzi, who's fallen back behind both McLarens. Oh, the Renault squabble squabble. Danny Rick back ahead of Hulkenberg, both now on the back of Giovinazzi. Now, how will Bottas deal with this? Round the outside of Nico. That puts one car between him and Gasly. In fact, Gasly, you can see, really dropping off. So I think Bottas, so long as he doesn't get caught too far in, like he did there with Giovinazzi, should be okay. That's punted Giovinazzi off slightly there. And I think that might cause him problems against Danny Rick, but no, it does not. And with Gasly got the two Renaults between him and Vettel, I think that's going to help him out as well. Ooh, even if it is going to be a little bit sneaky against Giovinazzi. Now Vettel needs to do something about these two Renaults to make sure that he doesn't get caught out by Hamilton. Indeed he does. And Hamilton needs to watch out for Leclerc. Look at how they're all kicking up the stand because their tyres are knackered. As Hulkenberg gets round Antonio Giovinazzi. It was a good run early on from the Alfa Romeo driver, but he's dropped back to 14th now. That's Hamilton getting very aggressive, trying to smash his way through the back markers. Or midfield, rather. Leclerc doing it much more succinctly as they now come up to lap George Russell for the second time. Hulkenberg trying to unlap himself. Oh, that has kind of... Oh, no, it's not helped out Hamilton at all. It's really worked for Leclerc. And that's him up into 4th position. Temporarily, Hamilton back ahead. Ooh. And that was all lappers trying to lap the lapped whilst being lapped. That was the drama there. And Leclerc up into 4th position. K-Mag's just got round Albon into 15th. So that has worked out for him, actually. As Vettel's got Gasly all over the back of him. Look at how knackered those tyres are. Bottas leading the way. This looks as if he is safe. Indeed he is. Over the line he comes. Valtteri Bottas recovers to win the Sakir Bahrain Grand Prix. Gasly grabs second. Vettel third. Leclerc does keep 4th ahead of Hamilton, dropping down to 5th. Verstappen 6th. Ocon unlapped in 7th ahead of Raikkonen, Perez, Sainz. Or is it going to be Sainz Perez by the looks? Raikkonen is going to hold on. Great race from him. There's Perez, Sainz, Norris. Then Hulkenberg behind Ricciardo after all of that race-long squabble. Giovinazzi, I think, will be slightly annoyed to be down in 14th after a great start. Magnussen, with that 3-stop strategy, leapfrogged the 2 Toro Rossos of Albon and Kvyat, with Grosjean Russell this time ahead of Kubica, and that gets him onto the board. That puts Bottas to the head of the championship, ahead of Vettel, Verstappen, Gasly, Hamilton, Leclerc, the 2 racing points, best of the rest, ahead of Sainz, Raikkonen and Norris. And a little trio there on 19. The 2 Renaults, Magnussen ahead of Giovinazzi and Grosjean. Kvyat and Albon, 6 apiece. Russell and Kubica, 1 apiece. Just 1 point separates Mercedes and Red Bull. Ferrari back in 3rd, Racing Point clear of Renault and McLaren at this point, with Alfa Romeo not far behind. Haas, Toro Rosso and Williams off the back. China next. Okay, let's see how we get on. Verstappen takes the lead on this quali lap. And actually, it looks like a Red Bull fun fest up front. Don't know how that's happened. Even Gasly there into 2nd. Then Leclerc and Hamilton and co all squabbling behind. But yeah, it is pole for Verstappen and a Red Bull lockout. Or is it? No, Leclerc equals... I know what's happened here. This game has a weird, interesting thing where it's marking from when you cross the line. So Verstappen may have crossed the line first, but Gasly started it behind him. So Gasly gets pole ahead of Leclerc and Verstappen and Hamilton. Perez doing well. Bottas again, shocking in quali, down in 7. 2 Alphas doing well. Again, the 2 Toro Rossos not. And Hulkenberg down in 16th again. Not a good day. Closer grid though this time, and a real mixture of hards versus softs, and it's hard for Gasly, and I don't think that's going to work. And look, immediately pounced on by Leclerc, and this could be Ferrari's saving grace moment here, as he is immediately pulling clear from Gasly, who's got Verstappen getting through, and now you can see Hamilton on soft tyres as well. And look, Red Bull trying to cover off all of the back straight. Doesn't work, or does it? No, it doesn't. Hamilton does get through, and look at Gasly being swallowed up, although Perez is going to get Hamilton by the looks of it as they all try and squabble their way through. Hulkenberg's down in last place. Don't know what happened there. Must have been pushed off the track. He is on hard tyres though, as look as Verstappen drops behind Hamilton. He's using his boost, but he's smashed into the back of him. That's not how you overtake. You've got to go round, not over. And that's actually helped Verstappen then get back ahead of Hamilton. And this is all helping Charles Leclerc. Because look, Perez, Sainz, Giovinazzi again doing another stunning start. Gasly and Ricciardo holding up, and Vettel's in there as well, and Bottas. They're kind of making a 4-way hard tyre block. So... ooh, Perez, careful, with Sainz under attack from Giovinazzi. And there we go. Verstappen punterinoed out of the way. By Hamilton and Perez. If they can keep that going... ooh, and Verstappen there making a really weird racing line. That's going to push Hamilton and Perez clear. And there's Giovinazzi getting through as well. Up into 4th goes the Alpha driver. Let's see if this works out better for him than it did before. There's the 2 McLarens working well as well. Sainz and Norris, who I didn't see quite so high up earlier. They're next up to have a go. Then, as you can see, this 4-way hard tyres. And again with the rain. It's been very soggy. And that's Kvyat being as high as an Alpha Tauri has... Toro Rosso, whatever it's called, in 2019. doing better than that's done all season long into 12th as everyone comes in for wet tyres. Grosjean, Russell doing well. Ocon, Kvyat, Hulkenberg, Raikkonen, Albon, Kubica at the back. But all this has done is really help Charles Leclerc because he's got a 1 second advantage over Hamilton. Giovinazzi's into third. Antonio doing a stunning job there ahead of Perez. But look, this is all going to start to unravel again as they're all equal on tyre performance as Verstappen goes steaming past Sergio Perez in the Racing Point. That Red Bull no match, and it won't be a match for the Alfa Romeo either. Norris ahead of Sainz as Bottas trying to recover. He's ahead of Ricciardo. Gasly they're down to 10. Vettel 11. Grosjean's got round Kvyat. Russell's going to be a bit of a bottleneck there as well. But yeah, look, Leclerc, a second clear still. And here's Giovinazzi under attack by Verstappen, and Verstappen straight through. I don't think Antonio can do too much about it. No, Verstappen does run wide. But such is the advantage of that Red Bull as he tries to go round the outside of that corner and then use all of his boost. And it works. Manages to stop for the corner. Well done, Antonio. Up into third again. And in fact, Verstappen not using his boost properly there. Perez drops down to 4. Bottas there ahead of both McLarens. That's Gasly still just ahead of Vettel, but they're both ahead now of Daniel Ricciardo. So it's going to rain again here at China. Kvyat, they're doing well. Ocon then ahead of Russell now. Hulkenberg's had a miserable race so far, down in 18th in that Renault. But Leclerc is gapping Hamilton, isn't he? And as the rain continues to come, this is just going to help more and more with what people can and can't do. And with Perez holding up Verstappen and keeping him at bay, that's allowing Giovinazzi to get clear. Super impressed by the Alfa Romeo driver. Bottas, Sainz, Norris, Vettel, Gasly, Ricciardo, Grosjean, Kvyat keeping Ocon at bay. He's slightly overdriving it there. Russell's keeping Magnussen, Raikkonen, Hulkenberg and Albon at bay. And as Kubica about to be lapped, the rain's starting to ease off slightly. And the beauty of this Chinese circuit is that there's plenty of racing lines for you to attack with and go for. And what's going on there? That's Verstappen under attack by Bottas for 5th position. Bottas steams it down the inside and gets through. That's allowed Perez some clear air. Ooh, Verstappen uses his boost to get back through. Does he keep it on the track? Just about. But they're all starting now in the second half of this stint to really pull in on Giovinazzi. And that's Perez through up into a podium slot. But here comes Hamilton using all of the boost to get himself back through on Leclerc. It's starting to dry out. That might be a reason why. And look, Leclerc, who has been absolutely unchallenged all race, now under attack by Hamilton for the lead. And they're coming round to this George Russell train that's going on. Raikkonen and Magnussen appear to have got past. As look at Hamilton retaking Leclerc using his boost to try and keep on around the outside. Ferrari versus Mercedes over the line, 10 to go. Hamilton takes the lead back again. Beautifully done. Leclerc going to go for the inside line. Now they've got trouble. It's Alex Albon who's trying to get round George Russell. And they've got round, but look, George Russell has boxed Hamilton in. They go 3 wide. Russell smashes into Leclerc. What are you doing, mate? Over the line they go, and it looks like Leclerc is going to then push Hamilton wide and try and go wide for 1. That gives Hamilton the inside for turns 3 or whatever the hell that's supposed to be. But Leclerc back in front just as they come to play with Nico Hulkenberg. We're starting to get into dry weather territory, dry tyre territory very soon as Leclerc pops a lap on Hulkenberg, who's going to be first in for it, I wonder. No one yet. Will Verstappen give it a go? Yes, he will. I wondered. Giovinazzi goes round again. And look, they're all going on to softs. Because I think you can make it. Kubica's gone in at the back of the field as well. As here they all come in. There's Raikkonen with Leclerc all over the back of him. Well, that's kind of helped actually, Charles Leclerc. It's got a 1 second gap. Verstappen then moves into third. Bottas, Perez, Sainz, Giovinazzi really lost out in that lap. As look at Vettel getting through. So Giovinazzi down to 8th. And now busy playing with the McLarens. There's pole sitter Gasly down in 10. Ricciardo and Co next. Albon ahead of Russell now. Yeah, look, Charles Leclerc, 1.6 seconds clear, 2 seconds clear now. The next battle is of the recovering frontrunners. Verstappen and Bottas, waylaid by their tyre choices at the beginning of the race, now trying to steam it through. 4 seconds off the back of Hamilton. But Verstappen looks like Bottas a little bit faster perhaps at this stage. And look, both immediately on the boost down the straight, trying to make sure that no one overtakes the other. Perez has got Carlos Sainz for company in 5th and 6th. That looks juicy as well. Giovinazzi holding up Sebastian Vettel, who takes a weird line again, and that's going to leave him open for Lando Norris to have a run through, which he does indeed do. Great stuff there by Lando. Drops Sebastian down to 9th, but the problem they've got now is Alex Albon being lapped. Both get through, but that looks like Seb is going to have more boost. Steams back through up to 8th position, and look at them now attacking Giovinazzi either side of the Alfa Romeo. And look, Giovinazzi trying desperately to hold on and get that place back. Oh, it feels all a bit futile for the Alfa Romeo driver. But Norris doing a fine piece of driving around the outside, keeps Vettel at bay, gets round Giovinazzi at the same time. P7. What's going on up front? Verstappen's made better run of the traffic. And that is Vettel past Giovinazzi by the looks of it. Gasly next. As that is Russell and Albon having a squabble over 18th and 19th. Not a good day at the office for Alex. Much better for Kvyat. As there is Charles Leclerc about to start his last lap. It has been, apart from that wet to dry period where Hamilton looked like he was going to have the edge, Charles Leclerc absolutely romping away in this race up front. Juicily done. And across the line he comes to win the Chinese Grand Prix. Excellently done. Hamilton second. Verstappen just about clings on for third. Bottas had the pace but inconsistent for 4. Perez best of the rest in 5. Ahead of Sainz. Vettel. Gasly. Oh, that's not fair for Norris. Losing a couple of positions right at the end. Giovinazzi top 10. Ricciardo, Ocon, Kvyat, Grosjean, Magnussen, Raikkonen, Hulkenberg. An awful race down in 17th. Probably the most disappointing runner of the race, to be fair. It's just in lap time in general. Same with Albon, they're well off the pace compared to teammate Kvyat. Russell ahead of Kubica. So that puts Bottas to the head of the championship Again, this is all going to be about consistency here. Verstappen, Hamilton, Leclerc moves into 4th ahead of Vettel. Gasly drops to 6th. Perez and Ocon, the 2 McLarens, follow. Raikkonen, the 2 Renaults, Giovinazzi next. The 2 Hasses, the 2 Toro Rossos. And Russell ahead of Kubica. Mercedes now on top of the constructors by 12 points from Red Bull, who have been caught up by Ferrari and are now equal points-wise. Racing Point clear of McLaren still. Then it's the Renault and Alfa Romeo duo together. Haas clear of Toro Rosso, clear of Williams. We're off to España next. Okay, so remember, this is as they cross the line. So, Sebastian Vettel and Hamilton, they're pulling well clear into a class of 2 by the looks of it up front. Leclerc next up. Looks like Sainz and Ocon having a good little squabble, as Bottas there gets ahead nicely. Everyone kind of out of boost already, but it is a Hamilton and Vettel crossing the line literally identically. I think Hamilton will get the pole potentially. Yes. Just ahead of Vettel. Leclerc next. Who else did a good job? Sainz did a good job. Best of the rest for McLaren. I think probably in this series you'll take a shot every time I say best of the rest. You'll be absolutely pissed as a fart. Kvyat, not a grand run in that Toro Rosso. And well, lots of drivers gone for softs, a few have gone for hards, and one of them's Lewis Hamilton, and that's not a good start. Ooh, straight away down to 4th place. Vettel and Bottas going for it. Leclerc on hard tyres though, a much better start, and up into 2nd for the time being. It looks like Bottas will get through though. I think we're showing that hard tyred runners, by and large, it doesn't work for them, although Vettel dropping behind Lewis Hamilton there. That may not have helped. Oh my god, look at that boost! Ferrari 2019 engine hacks confirmed as Vettel takes the lead of this Grand Prix. Superb. Verstappen and Bottas. Gasly's through, Perez is through, Hamilton dropping like a stone, as is Leclerc on those hard tyres. It's not an option. This game does need a juicy hard-tyred patch, quite frankly. As Ocon looks like he's then going to go around the outside of Hamilton as well. There's Raikkonen, Magnussen through, Norris, there's Hülkenberg, Giovinazzi not able to quite do the heroics of his last 2 races. But Leclerc down to 13th, Sainz down to 15th. Only just ahead of Grosjean actually, so it's really not worked out. 17th to 16th. Now 17th as Grosjean gets through. Wow, look at the hard-tyred runners really struggling. Up front now, Vettel leads the way from Verstappen and Bottas. Perez and Gasly and Ocon having a good old squabble. Look at Raikkonen going around the outside of K-Mag for 7th and 8th places. Good to see the Haas driver punching above his weight. As there is Norris getting past Hamilton. Norris really wrong-setted compared to other soft-tyred runners. Same with Hülkenberg. You wouldn't expect Raikkonen and Magnussen to be ahead. But they really are. Oh, Perez off the track. And that's allowed Gasly through. And Perez trying to get back through, but nearly losing it. Down the straight there. Not quite sure what drunk tequilas Perez has been slamming, but that's not helping his driving style. Soft-tyred runners start to come in from lap 6 onwards as Leclerc and Hamilton have kind of met each other in the battle for 12th. It's really not worked out well at all. Look at Gasly getting past Verstappen. Not quite sure how that's going on either. Raikkonen gets past Ocon. There's Norris having a look at Hülkenberg. And there you can see Daniel Ricciardo, soft tyres. only just getting past Hamilton. It's not worked for him. It's not worked for Albon either. He's still struggling with this lead duo on the hard tyres. Giovinazzi, Sainz, Grosjean and co. Kubica ahead of Russell. No one pitting, but look, Bottas and Gasly. Sorry, Gasly and Verstappen passed Bottas into second and third place. Oh, and here comes the rain. Bang on the time when you would want to pit. Hulkenberg already has in the wet weather tyres, and it looks like it's working out for him already, even though the rain hasn't actually hit yet. He's the only one that's done it. Now a couple of others have the two Williamses who are on the hard tyres anyway. Hulkenberg leading the way. Will it work for him? As look, everyone in now. This has been the soggiest season. I only put it at 10% because I was thinking, right, a 10% chance will be fine. And I did a practice run of this, and it very rarely rained. Kvyat last one to switch on to wets. That will not have helped him at all. Did that help Hulkenberg? Put him into 12th. A little bit better, but there we go. Vettel leads from Gasly, Verstappen, Bottas, Perez and Raikkonen. And look, it looks like we're going to get sunshine quite quickly as Kimi gets round the outside with Perez for 5th position. Have a fine run there by Kimi Raikkonen. Now you can see Hamilton and Leclerc, they are desperate to catch back up again. And look, they're all pitting for dries. And now they realise that it's going to rain again and they've had to come back out. And that has thrown a real cat among the pigeons. So Bottas did not pit, leads the way. Raikkonen now into second ahead of Perez. There's Vettel and Gasly, and Verstappen did the same thing, as did George Russell. All silly stuff. And look at Russell there, really getting in the way as they all try to come back through. Again there, it looks like it's going to hit dry weather. You just don't want to come in immediately, do you? Because it's going to all end potentially in tears. Gasly gets back past Perez and Ocon. Vettel stuck behind. Ocon gets round Perez, who seems to be loving being off the road at the moment in this race. Vettel through as well. Gasly struggling with these racing points. He's through now, but this has all worked out beautifully for Kimi Raikkonen into second. Once again, Alfa Romeo playing their strategies perfectly here. Complete contrast to the real world. Bottas there into hard tyres. You can potentially, I think, just about make it home from here on hard. So I think we'll see most people do it. Having said that, both Williamses have just done softs, which I think is probably actually the fastest option. Carlos Sainz must be thinking, what did I do to deserve this? Giovinazzi down in 17th. This won't be a recovery drive for him to the top 10 place. There's Kvyat, George Russell having a miserable afternoon. He'll be looking at a no-pointer, I think. Excuse me. So, Gasly into second, Vettel into third, Raikkonen already shuffled down to 4th place whilst I was looking at the order there. And it's going to be a tumble down the field, but I wonder how far he will tumble. And will Vettel keep up with Gasly and get through? So there's Gasly popping a lap on Robert Kubica. Those soft-tyred Williams drivers won't be quite so much of a pushover because they've got a tyre advantage. And that will play out, and you can see them reeling in, actually, the people in front. So, again, confirming that soft tyres are a good thing to have. Oh, Raikkonen pushed out wide there as he was having a look at Vettel, who was busy trying to lap Kubica. And there you can see the evidence here that Williams, worst car by far, struggled to get through, and that has been helpful for Perez and for Verstappen as they both get past the Alfa Romeo driver. Perez desperate to stay ahead of Verstappen. Didn't quite manage it though. Verstappen staying just about ahead. There's Norris, Ocon, and that's Hamilton getting past Leclerc, who was busy in the gravel. 9th and 10th, these two, after their hard tyres runs earlier. Having a real struggle bus run. Raikkonen back ahead of Verstappen as well, very strange. Up front, Bottas well clear of Gasly, who's well clear of Vettel, well clear of Perez. Kimi, they're not dropping off nearly as fast as I thought he would do. Verstappen's going to have another go, and he's got to be careful because Norris and Ocon aren't too far behind. But they've also got Hamilton and Leclerc bearing down on them as well. Hülkenberg then in 11th. Those Renaults really not peaking at all this season. K-Mag doing well in 12th though, ahead of Danny Ricciardo. Albon 14th, highest he's ran all year. And then Sainz, Grosjean, Giovinazzi, Danny Kvyat, Robert Kubica. Keeping them honest, George Russell not. And that looked like Giovinazzi hell for Gasly, and that's pulled Vettel onto the back of the Red Bull driver and steaming through into second place goes Seb Vettel. Gasly not really doing anything much to stop the Ferrari driver. It doesn't look like he's got the pace to do it either. Very strange. We'll see how that unfolds as they hit more traffic. Raikkonen still ahead of Verstappen. Bizarre. Hamilton though. Wow, that's been a little bit of a breeze through as he gets past Norris and Ocon, who's also dropped behind Leclerc. So the danger man potentially is Lewis Hamilton, although Norris there cruising up onto the back in that McLaren. Looks like he wants to get back through, and indeed he does. He's used, well, I thought he was using all of his boost. It must have just been slipstream loving. 5 to go. Hamilton back through again. Squabble of the Brits continues, and that's helping Leclerc close back in again, having got round Ocon. The top 10 well clear of Hülkenberg, who leads the second half of the field. Raikkonen popping a lap on his teammate. Perez looks safe. In fact, the top 3 or 4 all kind of look a bit spread out at the moment, so that's fine. The back lot looking a bit meh as well. Carlos Sainz closing down Alex Albon for 14th isn't too bad. K-Mag in a Renault sandwich has the potential to turn, but I think we're all right for most things. Let's get back to this one, and Verstappen's got round Raikkonen. Let's get to that. 5th place there for Max, 6th for Kimi, and he's got to be careful as that Alfa Romeo, we've seen it drop off in the last few laps with tyre issues. Hamilton closing in so quickly. You've got to kind of think that 6th place is going to be potentially on his cards. He's got a couple of laps to do it in. As that's Norris losing out to Charles Leclerc as well. 8th position for the Ferrari driver. Norris down to 9. Ocon still in 10, and that looks like Danny Rick getting past K-Mag, and that is because Robert Kubica's in the way. Magnussen gets back through again. That Haas driver punching well above his weight so far. Oh, and that didn't quite work out. And down the order he goes, and he's really lost out there. And you can see there, Kubica and Russell, they've done 3 and 4 stops apiece. They've actually got the pace now, because these hard tyres are knackered, to kind of keep up and play. And that's kind of the best demonstration that we've had so far of how cack the hard tyre is. And here's a problem for Raikkonen. I think Hamilton might get it. Yeah, last lap. Hamilton into 6th. Raikkonen into 7. Leclerc still 8 though. And not quite so close. Bottas, well, that got a bit juicier towards the end, but he stayed clear and wins the race for Mercedes. Vettel 2nd, Gasly down to 3rd. Verstappen recovered there to 4th after his earlier tussles. Perez 5, Hamilton 6th after hard tyre start. Raikkonen 7, Leclerc 8 with his hard tyres. Norris 9. Really lost out in the soft tyre run, didn't he? He was right at the back of them all. And Ocon in 10, ahead of Daniel Ricciardo, who's got round Hulkenberg in all of that. And then Kevin Magnussen stays ahead of Alex Albon. Sainz 15, not a good day at the office for the McLaren driver, who started 7th on the grid. Grosjean, Giovinazzi, terrible day as well. Kvyat, Kubica, well clear of Russell. And that puts Bottas to 100 points, and it's looking quite good for the Finn at the moment, ahead of Verstappen, Vettel and Hamilton. Gasly and Leclerc 6th place. 2 Racing Points doing fine job. That bumped Raikkonen into 11th in the championship, ahead of the 2 Renaults. Giovinazzi slips behind Kevin Magnussen, actually. He moves into 14th, so that's looking good. And Albon catches back up to teammate Kvyat. 2 apiece at Williams. Now you can see Mercedes clear of Red Bull, but only 5 points ahead of Ferrari. Autoplay for 6th. Okay, round 5 up next. At Monte Carlo. What's the worst that could happen? It seems to be that Bottas has got another great jump here. Although Verstappen is rising his way excuse me, up to the top. Apologies if I make little mini coughs, by the way. I'm still recovering from the COVID. Over the line they go. It says Vettel. I'm not sure if they'll get the pole. I was going to say Verstappen started behind him, so he does get the pole from Vettel. Raikkonen 7. Great run. Magnussen in 10. Another great run from him. In fact, both Haas doing well there. Toro Rosso having their best run of the date. And Hulkenberg down in 18th. That's a torrid run from him. So let's see how we get on. Starting off dry. Most drivers on softs, including that front row. And that's helpful because that's let Vettel get well clear of Verstappen. And then behind, it looks like everyone's a go trying to get round the McLaren hard-tyred shod drivers. Bottas keeping in Verstappen's slipstream, able to kind of keep himself in the game. Ooh, and then using a bit of boost. That was cheeky, up into 2nd. Norris gets round Hamilton. And if anything, Lando Norris in the McLaren, yeah, look, he's going to get into 2nd at this. Into the barriers goes Norris, and that's dropped him from 2nd to 6th. Real shame. Excuse me, Verstappen now into 2nd. Norris and Gasly moving their way through on Bottas as well. and that is key for their races. And then behind, that looks like Kevin Magnussen moving into 7th place. Great run by him. Ocon through on Leclerc as well. They need to kind of keep themselves clean, which they don't. And that's allowed Leclerc through. Grosjean, Giovinazzi, Perez through on Sainz as well. This is all about basically making the soft tyre work as best as possible for you where you can. The 2 Toro Rossos there have lost out in all of this after great starts. That's George Russell ahead of Hülkenberg, who's on soft tyres. He's really not worked out well at all. This, and Kimi Raikkonen, oh dear, what has happened to Kimi Raikkonen? He's got some kind of issue after what was a great quali. I wonder if he's broke. But he's out pretty much of this race and crawling around. Vettel, Verstappen, Norris 3rd, Gasly 4. Now, is Raikkonen going to make it into the pits, or is he going to just trollolol around? Looks like he's trollololling around. He's causing problems. As Norris and Gasly go at it. There's Ocon, Leclerc, Magnussen, Perez. And look, Giovinazzi's stuck on his teammate. That's going to cause problems for Grosjean, I'd have thought there. Yeah, it did. Albon there getting through. Grosjean was ahead of those 2 Toros. Is Raikkonen going to pit? No, he's not. He's gone on round again. I'm not quite sure what's happened there for Kimi. I've never seen this in my life. But at least we know he's going to get 0 points today. As Verstappen takes the lead from Vettel. And then Vettel gets stuck behind Kimi Raikkonen. That's going to help out Norris, who sweeps round. It's like we've got a moving chicane going on out there. The 2 Renaults are next up. Leclerc now ahead of Ocon and Magnussen. I wonder if they came together down at the Rascasse. And in fact, both Ocon and Magnussen in. Clearly their time to change the tyres. And they're coming back out again. Ocon hard, Magnussen hard. I'd have stayed softs all the way through, to be honest. Perez also back out in 17th on hard tyres. Immediately gets past George Russell, but that's not going to be too helpful. Grosjean battling with the Renaults. And they go. Hülkenberg goes around again. There's Magnussen. Hard tyres battling with Ocon. They've got Kvyat ahead. 8th, 9th and 10th. Kvyat on those old tyres. Not able to do much. Kevin Magnussen smashes into the back of the chicane. That is Kimi Raikkonen. That does make me laugh. It's like we've stuck an Andrea Moda out on track. As that is Norris retaking Charles Leclerc in the battle for 5th. This could work out nicely, I think, for McLaren. They've not had the high results that I think they would have liked to have had early on, as Verstappen retakes 2nd place. I've missed something here. I have! Hamilton into the lead. Ahead of Verstappen and Vettel. Bottas next up in 4, so that's really not worked out well for that front duo. And here comes the rain. Oh, maybe that might sort Raikkonen out. Maybe he'll recover somewhat. But look, Verstappen back into the lead just at the right point where the rain's going to hit. In come the drivers, Ocon and Magnussen, the first 2 in for wet tyres. Kubica follows. And look, they're stuck behind Raikkonen. There we go. Raikkonen has cleared himself and got himself back running again. Oh no. What has happened to Kimi? He's missed the pits. Oh, I don't know. Now, is this just a little mini flurry? Look at the battle for the lead. This is juicy. Great stuff there. Vettel retakes the lead, smacks into the barriers. You can't bounce off them like Mario Kart, mate. But they're all doing it, to be fair. Hamilton looks like he's got back past Bottas. Not for long. Oh, yes, for long. And the more those two squabble, the more that helps Vettel and Verstappen to try and pull away. Norris not far off, to be fair. And 5th, then Gasly, Leclerc, Magnussen, fantastic job in 8th. And if this is going to dry out, they'll be back on soft tyres and that will help him through. Ocon next, then Perez, Giovinazzi, Ricciardo, Albon 13th. There's Kvyat about to lose out to Carlos Sainz. He's had another difficult race. Same with Hülkenberg. Russell's got Grosjean all over the back of him, and that's a struggle because look at Verstappen, and look, people are coming in for dries again. Oh, this is going to be really juicy. So, Bottas and Hamilton stayed out on the wet tyres, as has George Russell, as has Lando Norris. And look at how quickly Vettel is closing in. I can see why they may be doing it, because if they can go one lap longer, then they'll have prime soft tyres. But Vettel and Verstappen, they've got the upper number, because look at how quickly they've been able to pull through and get everyone done as they're just smashing Raikkonen out of the way. Gasly there into 3rd. That's how much those lot lost. Leclerc's got round Norris as well. So the Mercedes, have now got Pierre to deal with, along with each other. There's Gasly, Bottas, Hamilton, Leclerc on the back of it, Norris on his own. K-Mag's on his own as well, to be honest. What's happened to Ocon? Ocon must have got stuck behind Raikkonen for a while because he was well in that battle with K-Mag beforehand. There's Carlos Sainz now into 12th. Or is he? Alex Albon trying to fight his way back through that Toro Rosso. Didn't quite work. Both ahead of Ricciardo. Hülkenberg now ahead of Daniel Kvyat as they get... Ooh, getting lapped there. And that's Bottas versus Gasly for 3rd. And Bottas is through. Gasly looks like he's under the attack though through the tunnel. He does indeed retake 3rd place. That looks very busy up ahead. And it's because Vettel and Verstappen are busy lapping everyone. Gasly through, Bottas through, Hamilton through, Leclerc through. Leclerc not through. He is now. Then we've got Norris. Oh, that's not helped Daniel Kvyat. Really impressed with Kevin Magnussen, who's done a stunning job to get into 8th. And well, a couple of laps to go, you have to say. Verstappen versus Vettel. Is it going to work out nicely enough? Just about a second between them. I think we're going to be alright. Is that someone in the pits? Yeah, it's Kimi Raikkonen. They're not they're not pitting, and it's not recognised as pits, and there you can see Verstappen in trouble, but Vettel too in trouble, so it's kind of worked itself out. Bottas getting stuck there, that's going to help Gasly a little bit. I think we're okay as we approach the final lap then for Max Verstappen, just to bring it on home. Kevin Magnussen's Haas. Stunning race. Well above where that car should be. Oh, Ocon in the pits. On the last lap. Bit weird. But Verstappen wins the race from Sebastian Vettel, Bottas, Gasly, Hamilton, Leclerc, Norris a great 7. Magnussen's going to grab that 8th. There he is over the line. Great stuff by him. Perez will hold on for 9. Giovinazzi moves into 10. Ahead of Ocon in 11. Threw that place away. He just had to do one more lap. Very strange. Then Sainz, Ricciardo, Albon, Hülkenberg. Another poor run from him. Kvyat and the Toro Rosso. Unlucky. Grosjean, Russell well clear of Robert Kubica, who did not have a fun time out there on track. Yeah, 25 seconds off the back of his teammate, another lap. And Kimi Räikkönen, a good first couple of laps, and then it all went horribly wrong when he had to pit because they wouldn't let him. So Bottas now down to 4 points, leading the championship from Vettel, Hamilton, Gasly, Leclerc, Perez, Norris, Ocon and Sainz round out your top 10. That's important. There, that Ocon pit stop has basically levelled Norris and Ocon together. So McLaren starting to make a little bit of headway into racing points advantage. Kevin Magnussen up to 13th in the Haas, equal with Kimi in points. Juicy. And we look at constructors, it's still Mercedes in front of Red Bull and Ferrari. The gap's changing slightly. McLaren starting to reel in Racing Point in the battle for 4th. Renault 2 clear of Alfa Romeo for 6th and 7th, but Haas aren't completely out of it. Toro Rosso not having a grand day though at the office. We're off to Canada. So this one's always difficult to predict because it does that last corner as part of their run-up. So God knows how everyone will actually be when they cross the line. So we'll just watch this. Ooh, Charles Leclerc gets a pole. Nice. Red Bull 2-3. Hamilton down to 4. Ahead of Vettel, Norris ahead of Bottas as well. So another good run for Lando, although it seems to be a bit of a kiss of death, whoever's best of the rest. Grosjean into 10th for the Haas. Another good run from the American team. Hopefully they can continue doing well there. Kind of a bit more as you would expect. Raikkonen a bit down there in 16. The two Toro Rossos. Again, not really working out for them, is it? Having great grip as opposed to everything else. Let's see, Williams is right at the back. Ooh, Leclerc's on hard tyres though, as is Norris. Who's made those tyre decisions? And look, immediately both Red Bulls get past, as does Vettel. And Vettel's going to get past a pair of those. Runs off wide though, and that's dropped him right down the field. The couple of them have. Albon was another one, as did Hulkenberg, I think. And look, Russell, Kvyat, Perez, Norris and Leclerc, the hard-shod, tired cars. And they're all in trouble. Good to see Daniel Ricciardo being a bit feisty, or he was. And look, Bottas goes around the outside. Can he hold it on? No. And look, that's going to allow Gasly to have a go. This is what it would have been like in 2019 had both Red Bulls actually been on pace. Who would have thunk it? There's Gasly. Bottas goes around the outside though. Beautifully done. So the top 5 are all soft-tyred runners. Look at the way how they're all attacking themselves going through. Looks like Ricciardo's finally got round Charles Leclerc as well properly now, so that's worked out. But look, that exit from that chicane really causing problems. You saw K-Mag and I think it was Norris there running out and losing places. Ricciardo having the same problem there. We're starting to filter out. It's one of those circuits, this one, where you can't run too wide for very long. But it's going to be all about the mistakes. Now you can see you can push off your opponent quite happily. Leclerc then down to 9 with Hulkenberg. Magnussen now 12th. Grosjean's down to 14th. Again, it doesn't seem to work out. Norris, I know he's on hard tyres, but 15th from 6th on the grid, not great. And you can see Leclerc getting back past Sainz. So it's at this point really where hard tyres start to be better than soft. Ooh, Giovinazzi there in real trouble. That's going to help out Grosjean. Gets past one driver, doesn't quite get back past Norris, and then gets pushed off wide. So thank God there's no damage in this game. So Bottas. They're all going round again. No one's coming in. And it's because you can do from 9 to 15 laps, it suggests. I have to say, actually, Norris has kind of held on a little bit in 12th place in that McLaren. Now down to 13th as K-Mags gets through. But Norris has been able to almost hold his own. Look at the nice AI. Grosjean, though, the first one in. Now, is he going to go hards or is he going to go softs again? He's going to go hards. I mean, okay, Rogro. Not sure about that. In comes everyone. Anyone going to do anything different? Yes, look, softs for Hamilton, softs for Vettel. Softs for Gasly, as he rejoins with Sainz. Softs for Ricciardo. Interesting. So that to me suggests that Grosjean's not going to pit again. But it's such a low delta here because of the terrible AI line that it works out better if you do go for multiple stops, as I think these drivers are starting to notice. So he's already stopped, has Sebastian Vettel. It's worked out nicely as Giovinazzi rejoins in 18th, right in the middle of everything. And there's Hamilton into second, Bottas, Gasly, Verstappen. They're all on soft tyres. Leclerc's still yet to pit, and look, Ricciardo now into 6th place. Already made up the difference. I hope Ultimate Racing 2D2, The Revenge, has a much better balance of tyre mods. Ocon through. As Carlos Sainz making his way back through again. So this is working out nicely for McLaren versus Renault. Renault versus McLaren. Because there's Hulkenberg in 10, also on softs. K-Mag doing well. Albon now up to 12th in the Toro Rosso. Doing a better job of things, although he's got Raikkonen all over the back of him. As they get lapped. Ooh, careful. I think that's going to be a place lost. Indeed it is. Albon going to try and get it back on the slipstream. Does not work. Ooh, does on the exit of the corner though. And the reason why this is of interest is that is Bottas and Hamilton in their battle for second position. 2 seconds off of Seb. Ooh, Bottas there onto the grass. George Russell still not pitted. And there he is, he's in now. There's Charles Leclerc, he has pitted. And he's got out just ahead of this Albon Grosjean squabble. And this is all helping Verstappen get past Hamilton. Which he does. Gasly next up. There's Vettel. He's popped a lap on Charles Leclerc. That's how bad that tyre strategy has worked out for him. But now Bottas is clear of everyone. And there you can see Sebastian's actually under attack by Leclerc, who's on potentially, I think, fresher tyres. But also a much faster car. And he's trying to get himself back up the order. He gets past Hulkenberg for 9th place. Unlaps himself in the same process, but this is not helping Sebastian Vettel in his run for the win. He'll want to get through that car quickly. Indeed he does. That's Kvyat. Also, on the wrong foot, he's running off the Well, he's running fast because he's late onto the soft tyres, so he unlaps himself. What's Hulkenberg trying to do? All this is doing is pushing Bottas and now Verstappen, who's passed Hamilton, into Seb Vettel. So Hulkenberg unlaps himself, immediately makes a mistake. This is an absolute atrocity for Sebastian Vettel. Nico Hulkenberg refusing to be lapped. And look, hello Valtteri onto the back. This is an absolutely bizarre run of events, quite frankly. And look, Hulkenberg still in front. There you go, Seb's had to go for an angry cut through, and look, he's back behind again. And there we go, Hulkenberg pushes Vettel wide. Look at Bottas, he's right on the back of him. They're going to have to try and gang up and get him through. They're running so slow. And look, Bottas takes the lead and immediately gets past Nico Hulkenberg. Makes it clear, there's Vettel through. He's on the grass again. He can't get past the Renault. That has genuinely made me giggle. Now he's through, gets past Hulkenberg. But that was too many laps too late. And Valtteri Bottas making a decisive move. And look, Vettel's still struggling with Hulkenberg. And there's Max Verstappen, also caught back up there into third. But wow. Well done, Valtteri Bottas, making the move stick when it counted. Vettel second, Verstappen third, Hamilton 4, then Gasly. And is that going to be Leclerc getting 6th? It is. We missed that. Great recovery drive by him. Then Daniel Ricciardo, his best finish there in 7th, ahead of Ocon, Carlos Sainz, Hulkenberg, Norris. Norris then Hulkenberg, sorry. So there was a reason why Hulkenberg wanted to try and keep that all going, but it didn't really work out for him massively. Perez moved himself back up to 12th in that second half of that race. What I was trying to say earlier was it looked like it was going to be a good day for McLaren versus Racing Point, but I don't think it's made too much of a difference because Perez made up about 4 places at the end. Albon 13th, better run from him. K-Mag into 14, the 2 Alphas 15 and 16 not featuring too much there, ahead of Grosjean, Kvyat, Russell and Kubica. That's Bottas 12 clear now of Verstappen, Vettel, Hamilton, Gasly, Leclerc, and the 2 Racing Points, the 2 McLarens, the 2 Renaults, then K-Mag. And that's actually pushed Albon now ahead of Grosjean in the championship. That's interesting. Grosjean not scoring tons of points recently compared to his teammate. And that's going to have a potential knock-on effect because down towards the back, Toro Rosso can start mounting a bit more of a challenge after what has been a bit of a shoddy start. They can close in on Haas, who are busy trying to close in on Alfa Romeo in that 7-8-9 battle. Renault not quite up with McLaren and Racing Point, whereas the top trio continue on their way. Okay, the final round of this video. We're off to Austria for round 7 to end the first third of the championship. This is looking very much like a Ferrari benefit up front. Although Bottas is in there now too. I didn't spot that earlier on, but Leclerc making an absolutely fantastic run. Can he get it out the final corner okay? Yes, he can. Charles Leclerc, surely that's an undisputed pole. Yes, it is. Ferrari, Mercedes, Ferrari, Mercedes. Red Bull best one in 5th there. Gasly having a shocker down in 10 because ahead of him is Norris in a McLaren, Raikkonen in an Alfa Romeo, a Racing Point, and Grosjean in a Haas. Again doing a good run, in quali at least. Then the 2 Renaults, Ocon, Sainz, Magnussen. Toro Rosso, Alfa Romeo, Toro Rosso, and then the two Williamses 2 seconds off. Oh, and they've put Leclerc on hards. Why they do this? He's got off to a decent enough start, but that's to block Bottas so that Vettel can get through and into the lead. Verstappen, desperate to do well for Red Bull on home soil, moves up into second. But Leclerc trying every which way he can to block the Mercedes. It's not quite have worked out. He's used the boost though to get himself back up into third, so that's worked out not too bad for him. But there's Bottas and Hamilton 4-5. Is Leclerc going to try and get back past Vettel? Yes, he is. You're on hard tyres. That shouldn't be happening. But he's back up into second place, but it's Verstappen now that leads the way. That's kind of shot themselves in the foot, I think, for Ferrari. Bottas into second, then there's Vettel, Perez, Hamilton again. I promise, I've made that car and that driver the best combination, but it doesn't seem to make it really work in reality. But Hamilton gets round the outside of Leclerc, that's worked out nicely. Perez has got through now 2 in the Racing Point. There's Gasly recovering from his rubbish quali, and that's going to put him into 6th. And get him through as the Mercedes both get round Vettel. I mean, Bottas was ahead already, but that's Hamilton squabbling to get through. Gasly getting into the mix too. Perez having a nose. Oh, Perez getting through. And that Racing Point. There's Leclerc having a look at being taken by Ricciardo. Goes around the outside. Nicely done. Next up's Romain Grosjean, desperate for a good race. As Leclerc gets back past Ricciardo, the more they battle, the quicker they'll fall off the back of that group. Ooh, Grosjean there slams the wall hard. That allows Sainz through. Ricciardo's through on Leclerc. And that's Carlos Sainz using his boost to great effect to get through as well. Gasly's past Hamilton. In all of that, he's gone from offensive to defensive. Perez, Ricciardo, Sainz, Leclerc, Ocon, Grosjean, K-Mag, Norris. Raikkonen in the hard tyres, actually doing quite well there as he battles with the Toro Rossos, who have not had a good run again. Hulkenberg down towards the back too, so some interesting runs going on, but it's still Verstappen, Bottas, Vettel, Gasly, Hamilton and Perez, your top 6. Ricardo, Sainz, Leclerc starting to get more interested in what's going on up ahead, and there he is round the outside of Sainz. He's recovering himself back again. Grosjean, Norris is keeping ahead of Kevin Magnussen. There's Kvyat and Co. Russell's recaught back up to Robert Kubica as they're about to be lapped quite soon. Nicely spread out. Leclerc ahead of Sainz now. That's Raikkonen getting past Danny Kvyat in the Toro Rosso again. Very underwhelming, the Toro Rossos at the moment. Robert Kubica's been into the pits, as has Pierre Gasly. Gasly's gone onto hard tyres though. I'm not sure that was the right move. Magnussen's done the same, as has Giovinazzi. As has Bottas and Vettel. And Perez. They're all doing it. That really surprises me. I'd have thought someone would have gone for a 2-stopper. But no is the answer, and I wonder if actually these two will. No. Verstappen and Hamilton both go for hards as well. So everyone doing the same thing. A 1-stopper and switching from softs to hards or hards to softs by the looks of it. As that's Sebastian Vettel getting past Verstappen, but they've locked up with George Russell, and that's going to allow Verstappen to get back through again, is it? No. Great run there by Vettel. That's a better run by Verstappen to retake back his second place. But this should have been them battling for the win. They're squabbling with Leclerc earlier on, whilst he was on hard tyres, has really handed Bottas this lead. Verstappen and Vettel next up. Vettel retaking second. They need to kind of work together on their boosts and stuff to try and reclose back in that gap on Bottas as he pops a lap on Hulkenberg down in 18th. Yet to pit. Kubica's retaken George Russell. You can see they're really struggling on tyre wear. This will swing completely the other way in a minute as they get round Hulkenberg, and that's going to be Verstappen getting back through into second. Yep. Vettel next, then Gasly. Hamilton's down in fifth, kind of not really doing much there at all. Ricciardo, I think, will be happy with seventh at the moment, although Leclerc will be having something to say about that soon as he's battling with Sainz, and Sainz gets through into eighth. That's because Leclerc is into the pits. Russell, Hulkenberg and Raikkonen onto softs, as is Leclerc. And he rejoins in ninth, just ahead of Romain Grosjean having his best run of the season so far. K-Mag in 12th as well. This is going to be Haas's best run so far, if that can kind of stay like that. They do have Norris, Raikkonen, Hulkenberg steaming in though. So, ooh, that looked juicy. It was. It was Raikkonen getting past Danny Kvyat. And they're going to be getting past Giovinazzi very shortly as well. Oh, not if they do that though. And look, the problem with this is that it's allowing Gasly and Vettel to start squabbling. That's going to allow Hamilton to have a go. Raikkonen there unlapping himself. Remember, he's got brand new soft tyres. These lot are running on used hards. This is going to end up a little bit like what happened last time with Hulkenberg. But, oh, look at Hamilton. He gets past the pair of them. What a move. Gets Hamilton up into third. Vettel going a late lunge, trying to get back into that podium slot. And again, this is going to be Raikkonen with his new tyres, at least initially, having a much better run and job of it. They're closing down on Norris and Albon. Norris has got round Alex Albon for 13th place. He's going to have K-Mags to deal with, as there's Verstappen and Bottas trying to lap everyone. Making a job of it. Ooh, there we go. Norris and Magnussen get past Grosjean. Really shuffled backwards there. Look at that. Raikkonen gets round Albon. Hamilton staying ahead of Gasly. But look, they can't really do too much with Raikkonen because of how quick he is. We drive up the order. You can see Leclerc is nearly caught back up again with Carlos Sainz. Ricciardo's onto the back of Perez, interestingly, for 6th and 7th. But they've got problems because, look, it's Hulkenberg trying to unlap himself. And is that Verstappen taking the lead? It is. And look, it's a Lando Norris problem that they're trying to... Norris, with those great tyres, trying to unlap themselves. This is causing carnage. As they pop a lap on George Russell. Doesn't matter if he's on soft tyres or not. He's getting lapped regardless. But that has worked out beautifully for Max Verstappen into the lead. Now he's in clear air. That's him sorted. Then it's Vettel. Hamilton into 4. Then Gasly, who, look, still has Raikkonen all over him. Perez, Daniel Ricciardo, who's about to lose out to Charles Leclerc. Gets himself into 7. Will he have a go and get past Perez at the same time? I wonder. This is all... Oh, he's going to do it, isn't he? Easy pickings for Leclerc up into 6th place. Don't think he'll get Gasly. But Hamilton's going to get Vettel at this rate. And there he is. Through he goes. Up into 3rd again. Vettel off the podium in a race that it looked like he was going to win, which Max Verstappen did. Well done, Verstappen, for winning that. Taking some good overtaking action, then it's Bottas, Hamilton, Vettel, Gasly, Leclerc. Did get around Perez from Ricciardo. There's Carlos Sainz. Ocon rounds out the top 10. Norris, Raikkonen, Grosjean and K-Mag. And that looked like Hulkenberg was just getting round someone in the background. But it didn't work out. Albon stayed ahead for 15. Hulkenberg, Kvyat, Giovinazzi down in 18th. Didn't work for him. Russell did beat home Kubica in the end. And rounding out the championship positions at the end of the first third of the championship, it's Bottas 7 points clear of Verstappen. Who would have thought that? Then Vettel, Hamilton, Gasly, Leclerc. Those top 6 well clear of the rest. Better the rest. Shot. Perez, then Ocon, Norris and Sainz. Ricciardo then into 11 with that good finish. Then Raikkonen, Magnussen. Hulkenberg had a couple of duffers, hasn't he? Giovinazzi, Albon, Grosjean, Kvyat. And then Russell and Kubica towards the rear. Looking at the constructors, it's Mercedes. They're not exactly comfortably clear, but they are clear of Red Bull and then Ferrari. Racing Point way back in 4th, but they've got a decent gap now over McLaren, who've got a decent gap over Renault. Then it's Alfa Romeo and Haas in a squabble over 7th and 8th. Toro Rosso underperforming in 9, and Williams round out the constructors with 9 points in 10. So join us next episode where we'll be kicking off on the UK and working our way all the way through to Italy. Take care all. Bye.